How did your high school crush turn out as an adult? She is a very successful person working in Montana as a firefighter and also does research in Antarctica. Became a professional cheerleader. Died of breast cancer at 34. Googling names from high school is crazy. My crush became an NFL cheerleader. Still alive though. And no, we never dated and she didn't remember me at the class reunion. Nothing personal, mate. High amount of concussions in that sport. My English teacher still looks fine as fuck. Mine was ancient back in 1985. If she's still around now, she must be a vampire. God bless you, Mrs. Cunningham. You put up with me, tried your best, and I still turned out shit. Mine was only about 4 years older than me and dropped out halfway during university. You made me check, and she is actually a very successful artist and an art teacher at a renowned university in France. She even got decorated for her work, Chevalier des Arts et des Lettres. Dang, this award in France is kind of a big deal when you're an artist. His friend murdered him over a girl. Yikes. I briefly worked with mine and didn't realize it was her until I left for another job. She looked almost unrecognizable, but it was 15 years after I last saw her. She's married with a couple of kids now. So pretty standard life, I guess. She ended up dating and marrying the guy who bullied me all through middle school and high school. They seem like a functional family from what I see on social media. You were 2 murders away from being Snape. I've got an address if you wanna save the wizarding world. Won't help if you didn't get the secret from the secret keeper. Pretty good. Seems to have her life together. Although she had a few setbacks. She's gone back to uni since job prospects in her field kinda sucked, but seems to be really enjoying it. She's dating me though, so clearly her judgment sucks. FKU had me in the first half, but congrats. I'm reading it thinking shit, he stalks this girl. I was a freshman and had a crush on a senior. To add to it, she was a cheerleader and her brother played QB for the football team and got a college scholarship. She showed up at a football game a couple of years later with a baby in tow. She's married now and back in her hometown. That's about all I know. I thought you were going to say the brother had something to do with that baby. Not as far as I know, unless she was the aunt. I more illustrated that to show how hopeless the crush was. I don't know about you guys, but I had way too many crushes in high school. Lol, yeah, I read the post title and thought, which one? Well, isn't it obvious? The one that got away. So yeah, all of them then. The them that got away edit. Holy shit, Spogue replied to my comment. I can die happy now. There's plenty more fish in the sea. They had said. He stood and he stared at the ocean ahead. There's red fish and blue fish and big fish and small. But that was the problem. He'd been through them all. My high school ex randomly sent me a text years after we split up that went, I know you don't like metal, but I thought you'd like this, and a link to a clarinet cover of metal song I played in HS. Little did he know that I hated playing clarinet and I was now a total metalhead. AHH, the circle of life. She's still hot, successful and wealthy entrepreneur, and married someone with the same first name as me and who quit his job to brew beer. I crushed on her for a bit. Didn't think she was interested, so I dated others. Then come to find out she crushed on me senior year. I was too dumb and blind. We connected freshman year of college. She wrote me letters, and by the time I wised up she had moved on. No one to blame but myself. F is right. Hot douche who doesn't really do much except go to the gym. To be fair, that's how he was in high school. I just liked it back then. If you always wanted to date Chip Matthews from high school, you're going to end up on a date with Chip Matthews from high school. So long as he still drives the chipper, I couldn't care less. He still works at the multiplex. He can get you free posters for your room. An insanely talented molecular biology researcher at Boston. And she's still insanely attractive. Edit. It looks like a lot of people feel like they know this same person. It's crazy how many molecular biologists people know, considering Boston is a hub for life sciences and that most researchers in the field start out with MolBio. Saying molecular biology researcher at Boston is essentially the same as programmer in Bay Area. Making me wonder what I ever saw in them. I concur. or high specigeral. Has doing good for himself. He's grown emotionally, has a seemingly healthy relationship with a longtime girlfriend, and is working healthfully on all his career and personal goals. I hope that if someone ever had a crush on me, this would be their description of my current status. Hahaha. This is wholesome AF. Hedge fund manager with a trophy wife. Does he own the Mets? He used to, but then he shorted GME. Fuck you, sure as he. I made so much money off GME, I'm your sugar grandpa now. Give your balls a tug, why don't ya? Overdosed and died last year. I got to see him before he was taken off life support with a really good mutual friend we shared. Organ donor too. It was surreal seeing him dwarfed by all these machines. He had one of the largest hearts I've ever come across. Edit. Graduated back in the early 2000s and last year, 2019. WTF is time even anymore? He had one of the largest hearts I've ever come across. Given that you mentioned he was an organ donor, I legitimately do not know if you mean this figuratively or literally. Figuratively, with the possibility of literally. He was a giant. This is the perfect response. Sorry to hear about your friend. Overdose deaths fucking suck. Even as an addict myself, it's a very tough thing to navigate every time a friend dies from drug use. Glad you got to say goodbye. That's pretty rare in my experience. Hope you're doing well. And I hope you're doing well. Dead by 32. Drugs. Feels weird upvoting this. Yeah. But I gotta. I will do what I must. Let's get real. This is why I came to this thread. She ended up getting knocked up by a freshman shortly after we graduated. A college freshman or a high school freshman? D. High school. Yikes. Still hot AF. Yup. Still doesn't know I exist too. She deleted me from Facebook friends, so yeah. She doesn't see. Going to an all-boys school sucks for having realistic crushes. However, ran into one of the teachers years later, and she still looked bellissima. I went to an all-girls school. Crushes were desperate and far between. That's not what the educational films on the internet tell me, and they all start with pillow fights. They both ended up as great guys. One has a huge family and is a minister. The other only has one child and is a college professor. Both married nice people and are happy. They were really good guys in high school and ended up being really good adults. I've got both of them on Facebook and we keep in touch peripherally as we stayed friends over the years. She was aware then, over 30 years ago, but it was unrequited. We've been in casual contact through Facebook for the past several years. And once before that my wife, at the time, and I had her and her husband over for dinner. From what I can tell, she's grown into a person I probably would have been happy with. It's nice to see my high school perspective got a few things right. I think we'd be good friends if we lived closer. She appears to be living a good life with her husband and family. With my second wife, I'm happier than I could have ever imagined. Life worked out well. Second paragraph is delightfully wholesome. All of it is. Really? Still a 10 for looks. I'm sure she kept on as the amazing, kind person she is. She moved to another country, speaks multiple languages, and is more successful than I imagined. She seems happy, but we haven't talked since the time I told her how I felt about her about 20 years ago. Lol, that last sentence. Ouch. It hurt me in a spiritual level. Turns out I was attracted to losers and burnouts, lol. That hasn't changed much. Hey, so how's it going? Wanna get a drink later? Only thing is I'm kinda light with cash right now. Is it cool if you cover it? I totally got you next time. One I don't keep track of at all. I'm not sure what she's up to. The other I married. She turned out awesome. Blink twice if you are being held hostage. SHHH. She'll hear you. Honey, I told you what would happen if you left the basement. Now eat your daily fish heads for dinner. There was a girl I really admired for a while. She didn't really give me the time of day after freshman year though. She was co-valedictorian and hugged me as I crossed the stage at graduation, and no one else got one. I'm still really confused about that 6 years later. She went on to med school and is either married or at least engaged to a guy she met there. Overall she's doing really well, and I'm happy for her. I had 3 1 from the first 2 years and 2 from the last 2. The first one is now F2M trans, who walked to Colorado to join a cult/commune. He is now in Arizona recording rap albums. The second girl moved to Florida and lives in a swamp. She periodically hits me up to tell me she misses me. How dumb I was that I didn't follow through. That we should get married. The third was a missionary. She wasn't really into it once she grew up. Came back home, and I introduced her to one of my closest friends. They've been married for 15 years. 0 thirds. Why no marry Shrek? He got Ogre the crush. If you are new to TattleTale TV, please subscribe. We have new videos every day. Stay tuned for more coming up next.